Welcome to Daily English Room. Today's topic is hometown. Where is your hometown?
I'm from Shenzhen, in southern China. It's a major technology hub, often called China's Silicon Valley.
I'm from Fez, one of Morocco's oldest cities. It's known for having the world's largest car-free urban area and a UNESCO World Heritage Medina.
I'm from Salvador, in Bahia, Brazil. It's a vibrant coastal city known for its rich Afro-Brazilian culture and amazing food scene.
I'm from Kamakura, a coastal city about an hour from Tokyo. It's famous for its historic temples and the great Buddha statue.
I'm from Bled, a small town in northwestern Slovenia. It's famous for its stunning lake with a church on a tiny island and a medieval castle on a cliff.
I'm from Lagos, specifically the Lekki area. It's one of Africa's largest cities and Nigeria's economic hub. It's incredibly dynamic and full of energy.
How long have you lived there?
I lived there for 26 years before moving to work in Shanghai 2 years ago. But I still visit my family there quite often.
I've lived here my entire life, 33 years now. Though I studied abroad briefly in France, I came back to raise my family here because of the strong sense of community.
I grew up there and lived there until I was 28, so about 7 years ago. Even though I work in Sao Paulo now, I go back several times a year to visit family and get culinary inspiration.
I lived there until I moved to Tokyo for university when I was 18. Now I'm 30, and though I live in Tokyo, I visit home almost every weekend since it's so close.
I've lived here for most of my 40 years, except for a brief period when I worked in Austria. As a tour guide, I couldn't imagine a better base. It's like living in a postcard.
I've lived here all my life, 22 years. Even though I considered studying abroad, I chose to stay in Lagos because there's so much opportunity to make a difference here, especially in environmental work.
What do you like most about your hometown?
What I love most about Shenzhen is its energy and innovation. The city is always evolving, with new tech startups and companies emerging constantly. As a software engineer, I find the tech ecosystem really inspiring.
What I love most is the rich cultural heritage. Walking through the old Medina, you can still see traditional craftsmen working just as they did centuries ago. The mix of old traditions with modern life makes it special.
The food culture is incredible. The mix of African, Portuguese, and indigenous influences has created unique flavors you can't find anywhere else. Also, the warmth of the people and our festive atmosphere make it special.
The perfect balance between nature and history makes Kamakura special. You can visit ancient temples, go hiking in the mountains, or spend time at the beach, all in one day. This variety really influenced my design aesthetic.
The natural beauty is breathtaking. We have the lake, the Julian Alps as a backdrop, and pristine forests all around. Every season brings a different kind of beauty, from summer swimming to winter skating on the lake.
What I love most is the entrepreneurial spirit. Everyone in Lagos is working on something exciting, whether it's tech startups, environmental projects, or creative arts. The energy is contagious.
Has your hometown changed much since you were a child?
Oh, dramatically. When I was a child, parts of Shenzhen were still quite underdeveloped. Now it's a modern metropolis with impressive skyscrapers, advanced public transportation, and technology integrated into every aspect of life. The transformation has been incredible.
While the historic Medina remains largely unchanged, the new city has developed significantly. We now have modern schools, shopping centers, and better infrastructure. But we've managed to preserve our cultural identity despite the modernization.
While the historic sites remain preserved, the city has become more tourist-friendly. We've seen more cafes, design shops, and international restaurants open up, but the city has maintained its peaceful atmosphere.
Yes, tourism has grown significantly since I was a child. We've seen more hotels and restaurants open, and activities like hiking and water sports have become more organized. but our strict environmental regulations have helped preserve the natural environment.
Dramatically, when I was little, Lekki was much less developed. Now we have modern shopping malls, tech hubs, and new residential areas. Unfortunately, this rapid development has also brought environmental challenges, which is partly what inspired my career choice.
What do visitors, tourists like about your hometown?
Tourists are often amazed by our technology markets, especially Huaqiangbei, which is the world's largest electronics market. They also love our modern architecture and the mix of urban development with green spaces.
Visitors are fascinated by our ancient Medina with its narrow streets and traditional markets. They love our famous tanneries, the historical madrasas, and of course, our local cuisine. The authentic cultural experience really draws people in.
Tourists love our historic center with its colorful colonial buildings, the beautiful beaches, and of course, our local cuisine. The carnival here is also famous. It's different from Rio's, more street style and participatory.
Visitors love our temples, especially the famous Daebutsu, Great Buddha. The hiking trails connecting various temples are popular too. Recently, we've become known for our artisan shops and coastal lifestyle.
Everyone falls in love with Lake Bled, especially the island church and castle. They also enjoy our local cream cake, called Kremsnita. Adventure tourists appreciate our easy access to hiking, climbing, and water sports.
Visitors are often surprised by Lagos's art scene. We have fantastic galleries and music venues. They also love our markets, beaches, and especially our food. The nightlife and entertainment are incredible too.
What's the most unique tradition or festival in your hometown?
In Shenzhen, we have this amazing talent, combining ultra-modern technology with traditional festivals. During Chinese New Year, our whole city transforms with incredible LED light shows on skyscrapers, especially around the civic center. Even though Shenzhen is a young city, we've created our own modern traditions, like the Shenzhen International Industrial Design Fair, which really reflects our identity as China's innovation hub.
In Fez, we have the International Festival of Sufi Culture, which is absolutely magical. The Medina comes alive with spiritual music and whirling dervishes. The ancient walls of our city create perfect acoustics for these performances. My children are always mesmerized by the traditional instruments and chanting.
Salvador's carnival is world famous. It's completely different from Rio's. We have these massive trios eléctricos, trucks with bands playing on top, parading through the streets, playing exe music. As a chef, I love how the festival brings together our Afro-Brazilian culture, especially in the traditional foods we serve, like acarajé and vatapa.
Kamakura hosts the Kamakura Matsuri in April, celebrating our city's samurai history. The highlight is the Yabasame, horseback archery, at Tsurugaoka Hachimaru Shrine. As a designer, I'm always inspired by how the ancient architecture blends with the cherry blossoms during this season.
In Bled, we have a unique winter tradition called the Bled Days and Nights Festival. The highlight is when we float thousands of lights on Lake Bled, with our medieval castle and the island church illuminated in the background. As a tour guide, I love explaining how these lights symbolize wishes for the coming year.
In Lekki, we celebrate the Lagos Boat Regatta, which is spectacular because we're right by the lagoon. The event showcases our maritime culture with colorful boat displays and traditional performances. It's fascinating to see how this festival brings together our modern coastal lifestyle with traditional Nigerian maritime customs.
What's the biggest challenge someone might face when moving to your hometown?
Shenzhen moves at an incredibly fast pace. What's new today might be old news tomorrow. The biggest challenge is probably keeping up with this rapid development. Also, despite being an international city, the language barrier can still be significant in daily life. Though honestly, our metro system and mobile payment systems make daily life quite convenient.
The Medina of Fez can be quite overwhelming at first. The narrow streets form a complex maze that even locals sometimes get lost in. Also, While our traditional way of life is beautiful, newcomers might need time to adjust to the pace. Everything runs on Moroccan time, which can be frustrating if you're used to strict schedules.
Salvador has this unique rhythm that takes time to understand. The biggest challenge might be adjusting to our more relaxed pace of life, especially if you're from a big business city. Also, while our Bolivian Portuguese is beautiful, it's quite different from standard Brazilian Portuguese, which can be challenging even for other Brazilians.
In Kamakura, finding modern housing can be tricky because we have strict building regulations to preserve our historical atmosphere. Also, while we get many tourists, the local community is quite traditional, so it takes time to truly become part of it. The constant tourist crowds during cherry blossom season can also be challenging for residents.
Bled is beautiful but quite small, so career opportunities can be limited unless you work in tourism or are able to work remotely. In winter, it can get very quiet compared to the busy summer season. Also, while it's incredibly scenic, the cost of living is quite high because it's such a popular tourist destination.
In Lekki, the traffic congestion can be really challenging, especially during rush hour when everyone's trying to cross to Lagos Island. Also, being a rapidly developing area, we often face infrastructure challenges like occasional power outages. But the community spirit and waterfront lifestyle make up for these inconveniences.
What's a common misconception people have about your hometown?
People often think Shenzhen is just a factory city, but that's so outdated. We're actually China's Silicon Valley, full of tech startups and innovation. Our city is incredibly green too, with beautiful parks and mountains. We have one of the youngest populations in China, which makes it such a dynamic and forward-thinking place.
Many tourists think Fez is stuck in the past, like a living museum. While we cherish our history, we're also a vibrant, evolving city. Our universities are producing cutting-edge research, and there's a growing arts scene. The Medina might be ancient, but the people living there blend traditional and modern life beautifully.
People sometimes think Salvador is just beaches and parties. Yes, we have those, but we're also Brazil's first capital with incredible historical importance. Our city is a major center of Afro-Brazilian culture and education. The way we preserve African traditions here is unique in Brazil.
Visitors often think Kamakura is just a day trip destination from Tokyo. Actually, we have a strong local community and contemporary culture beyond our temples and Great Buddha. We have a growing creative scene, with many artists and writers choosing to live here because of the inspiring atmosphere.
Many tourists think Bled is only worth visiting in summer. Actually, each season here is magical in its own way. Winter brings ice skating on the lake when it freezes, spring has amazing wildflowers, and autumn turns our forests into gold. We're also more than just a pretty lake, we're a hub for adventure sports.
People often think Lekki is just an affluent suburb, but we have incredible cultural diversity here. Yes, there are modern shopping malls, but we also have vibrant local markets and community traditions. We're also at the forefront of Nigeria's tech startup scene. They call this area Silicon Peninsula now.
How do local people typically spend their weekends in your hometown?
In Shenzhen, weekends are really diverse. Many young people head to October Loft, this cool creative district with art galleries and coffee shops. Others go hiking in Wutong Mountain or shopping in Huachangbai Electronics Market. There's also this great tradition of dim sum brunches with family.
In Fez, Friday to Sunday has a special rhythm. Fridays are for family prayers and couscous lunches. On weekends, families often visit the public hammams, then gather in courtyard houses for mint tea and pastries. Young people like to stroll in the Ville Nouvelle or picnic in the Junion SBIL Gardens.
Salvador comes alive on weekends. Many locals start their day at Porto da Barra Beach. Later, you'll find people in Pelourinho, enjoying live music and capoeira performances. Sunday is special because of our famous acarajé street food and the drum circles at DK do Teroro.
Weekends in Kamakura have this lovely mix of traditional and modern. Many locals start with a morning walk along Dankazura Path to Sarugaoka Shrine. Then they might go shopping on Kamachi Dori Street or take a bike ride to see the temples. In the evening, young people gather at the beach for sunset.
In Bled, weekends are very outdoor focused. Locals often hike to Ochstrika viewpoint for sunrise, then maybe row to the island church or cycle around the lake. In winter, we go cross-country skiing. Evening typically means gathering at local restaurants for traditional Slovenian food.
Weekends in Leki often start with morning exercise along Leki-Ikayi Link Bridge. Many families head to Leki Conservation Center to walk the canopy walkway or spot monkeys. Sundays are special with open-air markets and lots of families enjoying our beach restaurants. The sunset gatherings at Leki Beach are becoming a local tradition.
What's a local food specialty that visitors must try? Where's the best place to get it?
In Shenzhen, you must try our Cantonese-style seafood, especially the salt and pepper mantis shrimp. The best place is Hai Ya Seafood in Futian District. They let you choose live seafood from tanks, and the chefs prepare it in traditional Cantonese style. Also, don't miss our dim sum at Seafood Paradise. Their shrimp dumplings are famous across Guangdong.
You haven't truly experienced fez until you've tried our pastia. It's a delicate pastry filled with pigeon meat, almonds, and spices, topped with powdered sugar. The best place is definitely Restaurant Dar Hatim in the Medina. It's a family-run place, and they make it exactly how our grandmothers did.
In Salvador, you absolutely must try moqueca, our fish stew cooked in clay pots with coconut milk and dend oil. The best place is Dona Mariquita in Rio Vermelho neighborhood. They've been making it the traditional Bolivian way for generations. Also, try their acarajé. It's a black-eyed pea fritter that's iconic here.
Kamakura is famous for shirasu, tiny white fish served fresh over rice. The best place is Akamoto near Kamakura Station. They catch the fish every morning, and when they run out, they close for the day. During winter, try our special comfort food, hot soba noodles at Matsubara and near Hayes Temple.
In Bled, you must try our cream cake called Kremsnita. It's our local specialty with delicate layers of custard and cream. The best place is the Park Hotel Cafe, where it was originally created in 1953. They still use the original recipe, and the view of the lake while eating it is spectacular.
In Leki, our grilled fish and pepper soup is amazing. The best spot is Fish Market Restaurant near Leki Phase 1. They get fresh fish from local fishermen every morning. Also try their seafood okra soup. It's perfect with pounded yam. For street food, the suya, spiced grilled meat, at Leki Gardens is incredible.
How has the younger generation influenced your hometown in recent years?
Young people have completely transformed Shenzhen's culture. We've created this unique startup ecosystem where young entrepreneurs are developing everything from electric vehicles to AI applications. They've also brought in a huge cafe culture. Now we have these amazing creative spaces where people work on their tech projects while enjoying specialty coffee.
Young people in Fez are beautifully bridging tradition and modernity. They're opening contemporary art galleries in restored riads, starting eco-friendly businesses in the Medina, and using social media to promote our traditional crafts globally. There's this wonderful new energy while still respecting our heritage.
Salvador's youth are really embracing and modernizing our Afro-Brazilian heritage. They're creating fusion music combining traditional Bolivian rhythms with electronic music, opening sustainable restaurants that reimagine traditional recipes, and using street art to tell our city's stories.
Young people here are bringing new life to Kamakura's traditional spaces. Many are opening small galleries and workshops in old buildings, creating a modern artistic community. They're also starting sustainable tourism initiatives to protect our heritage sites while making them accessible to visitors.
The younger generation in Bled has really pushed sustainable tourism. They've developed eco-friendly adventure sports companies, organic farmers markets, and zero-waste cafes. They're showing that you can preserve nature while making tourism more exciting and responsible.
Young people have made Leki a tech and creative hub. We've got co-working spaces, tech startups, and digital art galleries popping up everywhere. There's also a strong environmental movement. Young people are organizing beach cleanups and starting urban farming projects.
If you could change one thing about your hometown, what would it be?
I'd improve the work-life balance in Shenzhen. We're known as the 996 city because many people work from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m., 6 days a week. While this drive made us successful, I think we need more balance. I'd love to see more cultural spaces and community events that encourage people to disconnect from work.
I'd improve the preservation of historic buildings in Fez. While the main tourist areas are well maintained, some beautiful old houses in less visited parts of the Medina are deteriorating. We need better funding and restoration programs to protect these architectural treasures for future generations.
I'd address the income inequality in Salvador. The contrast between different neighborhoods is too stark. I'd love to see more investment in education and job training programs, especially in our peripheral communities. Our cultural richness comes from all communities, so everyone deserves equal opportunities.
I'd create more opportunities for young people in Kamakura. Many have to commute to Tokyo for work, which makes it hard to maintain our local community. I wish we could develop more local business opportunities while preserving our city's peaceful character.
I'd make Bled more affordable for locals. Tourism has driven up prices significantly, making it difficult for young families to stay here. We need better housing policies that balance tourism development with local residents' needs.
I'd definitely improve our transportation infrastructure in Lekki. The traffic congestion is getting worse as the area grows. We need better public transportation options and maybe water taxis to take advantage of our waterfront location.
How do you think climate change is affecting your hometown?
In Shenzhen, we're seeing more intense typhoons and rising sea levels affecting our coastal areas. But we're also leading the response. We have the world's largest electric bus fleet and are developing new green technologies. Many of our new buildings are incorporating sustainable design principles.
Fez is experiencing more extreme heat waves and water scarcity. Our traditional architecture actually helps. The thick walls of old buildings keep interiors cool naturally. But we're seeing changes in the surrounding agricultural areas, which affects our local food supply and traditional farming practices.
In Salvador, we're noticing stronger storms and coastal erosion affecting our beaches. The changing weather patterns also impact our traditional fishing communities. However, this has led to more environmental awareness. Many local restaurants now focus on sustainable seafood and reducing waste.
Kamakura faces serious challenges with sea level rise since we're a coastal city. Our famous Great Buddha statue has weathered many tsunamis, but rising seas are a new threat. The cherry blossom timing has also become unpredictable, affecting our traditional seasonal festivals.
In Bled, we're seeing warmer winters with less snow, which affects our winter tourism. The lake's ecosystem is also changing. The positive side is that this has made our community very environmentally conscious. We're now leading many green initiatives in Slovenia.
Lekki is really vulnerable to sea level rise and coastal erosion. We're seeing more flooding during rainy seasons, and it's affecting our infrastructure. This has sparked a lot of environmental activism among young people here, especially in promoting green building practices.
What makes you most proud of your hometown?
What makes me most proud of Shenzhen is how we've evolved from a small fishing village into a global innovation hub in just 40 years. It's not just about the tall buildings and technology, it's about the spirit of entrepreneurship. People come here with dreams and work hard to make them reality. We have this saying, if you come to Shenzhen, you're a Shenzhener.
What fills me with pride about Fez is how we've preserved our cultural heritage while staying relevant in the modern world. Our Medina is the world's largest car-free urban area, and walking through it is like walking through living history. The fact that traditional crafts and modern life coexist so beautifully here is remarkable.
I'm most proud of Salvador's cultural resilience. We've preserved our African heritage despite historical challenges. The way our music, dance, food, and religious traditions have stayed alive and even influenced Brazilian culture as a whole. That's something special. You can feel this energy everywhere, from our capoeira circles to our community festivals.
What makes me proudest of Kamakura is how we maintain our spiritual and historical heritage while being a modern community. This was once the capital of Japan, and you can still feel that dignity. But it's not a museum, it's a living city where ancient temples and modern cafes exist in perfect harmony.
I'm most proud of how Bled has managed to preserve its natural beauty despite being a major tourist destination. Our community has always prioritized protecting the environment. The lake is still clean enough to drink from, our forests are well preserved, and we've maintained strict building regulations to protect our alpine character.
What makes me most proud of Lekki is its dynamism and resilience. We're a relatively new community that's become a symbol of Nigeria's growth and potential. Despite challenges, we're creating something unique here. A place where traditional values meet modern aspirations, where young entrepreneurs and artists shaping Nigeria's future.
How do seasonal changes affect daily life in your hometown?
Shenzhen has a subtropical climate, so our seasons aren't as distinct as in northern China. But during the spring monsoon season, everyone carries umbrellas all the time. They're as essential as your phone. Winters are mild, which actually attracts many domestic tourists looking to escape the cold north. In summer, life moves into air-conditioned malls and indoor spaces due to the heat and humidity.
In Fez, seasons dramatically affect our daily rhythms. During summer, the Medina comes alive at night when it's cooler, shops stay open late, and families gather in courtyards. In winter, we experience quite cold temperatures, and many homes gather around traditional braziers called cannon. Spring is magical with orange blossoms perfuming the entire city.
In Salvador, our seasons are more about rain than temperature. During the rainy season from April to June, afternoon showers are so predictable that people plan their days around them. The summer, from December to February, brings the peak of tourism and our famous carnival. That's when the whole city transforms into one big celebration.
Kamakura's seasons shape our entire way of life. Spring brings crowds for cherry blossoms, especially around Tsurugaoka Shrine. Summer is beach season and time for the hydrangea festivals at Meigetsuen Temple. Fall paints our temples with red maples, and winter brings a peaceful quiet, broken only by New Year's temple visitors.
Bled completely transforms with each season. Summer brings swimmers and rowing on the lake. Fall creates this incredible golden reflection of forests in the lake. Winter often freezes the lake, and sometimes we can even ice skate. Spring is for hiking as alpine flowers bloom. We joke that we live in 4 different towns throughout the year.
In Lekki, we basically have 2 seasons, rainy and dry. During rainy season from March to October, we've learned to be flexible with plans because sudden downpours are common. The dry season brings the Harmattan winds with Saharan dust, but it's also when we have our best outdoor events and beach activities.
How has digital technology changed life in your hometown in the last 5 years?
Shenzhen has become almost completely cashless. Everyone uses WeChat Pay or Alipay, even at tiny street food stalls. We've also pioneered shared bikes and autonomous vehicles. Recently, many local restaurants introduced robot servers, and facial recognition is commonplace for everything from entering your apartment to paying for groceries.
Even in the ancient Medina of Fez, technology has brought big changes. Traditional artisans now sell globally through social media, and many riads use online booking systems. Young people have created apps for navigating the Medina's maze-like streets, though honestly, getting lost is still part of its charm.
In Salvador, digital payment apps have made life easier, especially for small businesses. Our famous Acarajé sellers now accept Pix payments. Social media has also helped preserve our cultural heritage. Young people share videos of capoeira and candomblé ceremonies, keeping traditions alive while reaching global audiences.
Kamakura has embraced technology while preserving its traditional character. Many temples now offer digital guides and QR codes for historical information. Local artisans use Instagram to showcase their work, and we even have an app that predicts the best spots for viewing cherry blossoms based on real-time data.
In Bled, technology has revolutionized tourism management. We now have apps showing real-time parking availability and boat waiting times. Many local guides, including myself, use virtual reality to show visitors how the castle looked in different historical periods. It's helped us make tourism more sustainable.
Lekki has really become a tech hub. We've seen a boom in fintech startups, and most local businesses now use digital payment systems. Traffic apps have become essential for navigating daily commutes, and social media has created strong community networks for everything from security updates to organizing beach cleanups.
What's a local legend or story that everyone in your hometown knows?
In Shenzhen, we have a modern legend about the Five Brothers Mountain in Wutong. They say these 5 peaks were originally 5 brothers who protected the area from pirates. While it's a young city, we've adopted many stories from the surrounding Guangdong area. There's also a popular saying that, in Shenzhen, even the birds fly with an entrepreneurial spirit.
In Fez, there's a famous legend about the Qarawiyyin University's founder, Fatima al-Fihri. They say she fasted every day while overseeing its construction in the 9th century. The geometric patterns in the mosque's tiles are said to contain mathematical secrets that scholars still study today. Every child here grows up knowing her story.
In Salvador, we have the legend of the Igreja do Bonfim's ribbons. It's said that when you tie the ribbon around your wrist and make a wish, it will come true when the ribbon naturally falls off. But you must tie 3 knots and make a wish at each knot. These ribbons have become a symbol of our city's faith and hope.
Kamakura has many legends, but the most famous is about the Great Buddha. During a huge tsunami centuries ago, the wave reportedly parted around the Buddha statue, leaving it unharmed. There's also a story about the hydrangeas at Meigetsuan Temple. They say they were planted by a monk to help cure eye diseases.
In Bled, we have the legend of the sunken bell. The story goes that a young widow had a bell cast for the island church in memory of her husband. But during its transport, a storm sank the boat and the bell. They say on quiet nights, you can still hear it ringing from the depths of the lake.
In Lekki, we have stories about the Elaguchi royal family and their spiritual connection to the ocean. There's a belief that they can communicate with the sea spirits to calm storms. We also have modern legends about the successful startups that began in small Lekki apartments. These stories inspire many young entrepreneurs.
What's a common job or career in your hometown that might surprise outsiders?
In Shenzhen, we have professional, technology taste testers, people who test new gadgets before they go into mass production. Since we're the world's hardware capital, companies need locals to try everything from new smartphones to smart home devices. There's also a growing number of livestream product launchers who introduce new tech to global markets.
In Fez, we have color masters who work in the leather tanneries. They can mix natural dyes to create exact colors just by eye, using century-old techniques. We also have Zellige, geometric pattern designers who create complex mathematical patterns for mosaic tiles without using any modern technology.
In Salvador, we have professional, Dend oil sommeliers. Dend is our traditional palm oil, and these experts can identify its quality, origin, and best culinary uses just by smell and taste. We also have carnival choreographers, who work year-round planning the next year's performances.
In Kamakura, we have professional, temple gardeners, who specialize in maintaining Zen gardens. It's not just about keeping plants healthy, they need to understand Buddhist philosophy and ancient garden design principles. We also have traditional weather forecasters who predict weather patterns using ancient methods to help plan festival dates.
In Bled, we have castle beekeepers, who maintain traditional beehives in Bled Castle's walls. There's also a unique profession called Pletner oarsmen. These are licensed boat operators who use traditional wooden boats to row visitors to the island church. The skill is often passed down through families.
In Lekki, we have tech talent scouts who identify promising developers for our growing tech hub. There's also a rising career called solar installation consultants because many homes and businesses are switching to solar power. We even have professional, lagoon tour guides who specialize in showing people our unique coastal ecosystem.
How do people in your hometown typically celebrate important life events, weddings, graduations, etc.?
Weddings in Shenzhen blend traditional and modern elements uniquely. Many couples have two ceremonies: a traditional tea ceremony at home and a modern celebration in a high-rise hotel with city views. For graduations, it's becoming trendy to take photos at our landmark buildings like the Ping'an Finance Center.
In Fez, weddings are elaborate 3-day celebrations. The henna ceremony comes first, then the main wedding with traditional Moroccan music and feast, and finally the morning after breakfast where close family gathers. For graduations, families often host celebrations in traditional riads with local musicians.
In Salvador, we celebrate life events with lots of music and dance. Weddings often feature both Catholic ceremonies and candomblé blessings. We always have traditional Bahian food and samba reggae bands. For graduations, families often organize street parties where the whole neighborhood joins in.
In Kamakura, many people choose temple weddings that combine Shinto ceremonies with modern receptions. For coming-of-age day, young people dress in traditional kimono and visit Tsurugaoka Hachimangu Shrine for blessings. Even baby's first shrine visit is a major celebration here.
In Bled, many couples get married in boats in front of the island church. The groom traditionally carries the bride up the 99 steps for good luck. For graduations, there's a tradition of climbing to Bled Castle at sunrise with friends and family for a celebration breakfast.
In Lekki, celebrations are always big. Weddings are elaborate weekend affairs with traditional Yoruba ceremonies followed by modern receptions. We love hosting outdoor celebrations by the lagoon. For graduations, families often rent entire restaurants and hire live bands. Celebrations can last all weekend.
What's a local custom or habit that visitors often find surprising?
In Shenzhen, people often send each other digital red packets, money, through WeChat for almost any occasion, even small favors. Also, many locals take short, power naps at their desks during lunch break. It's completely normal to see office workers with their heads down at 1 p.m. Even in our modern city, we keep this traditional Chinese practice.
In Fez, visitors are often surprised by our public hammams, bathhouses. It's normal for neighbors to spend hours there socializing while bathing. Also, when we're served tea, it's considered polite to have at least 3 glasses. Refusing the third cup can be seen as rude. The first is for life, the second for love, and the third for death.
In Salvador, visitors are often surprised when strangers greet each other with a kiss on the cheek. It's just our way. Also, our concept of time is very flexible. If someone says they'll meet you at 2 p.m., they might show up at 3, and that's perfectly normal. We call it Bahian time.
In Kamakura, many visitors are surprised that we queue up in a specific way at temple entrances. There's an unwritten rule about standing slightly to the left to allow regular worshippers to pass. Also, during summer festivals, it's common to see businesspeople in full suits carrying portable shrines through the streets.
In Bled, we have this tradition of morning lake swimming, even in winter. Visitors are often shocked to see locals taking their morning swim in the cold lake. Also, it's considered good luck to ring the church bell on the island 3 times while making a wish, but you have to pull the rope yourself.
In Lekki, visitors are often surprised by our practice of prostrating, where younger people lie flat on the ground to greet elders as a sign of respect. Also, our weekend beach cleanups have become a social event where young professionals network while helping the environment. It's like a community ceremony now.
How has your hometown influenced your career choice?
Growing up in Shenzhen's tech environment definitely shaped my path as a software engineer. When you live in a city where every other person is working on the next big innovation, it's infectious. I remember visiting the electronics markets as a teenager, buying components to build my first computer. That's what sparked my interest in technology.
Teaching English in Fez wasn't just a career choice, it was inspired by seeing how tourism changed our city. Growing up, I watched tourists struggle to communicate with local artisans, and I saw how language barriers affected business. This motivated me to become a bridge between cultures through language teaching.
Salvador's rich culinary heritage definitely influenced my becoming a chef. I grew up watching my grandmother cook traditional Bolivian dishes, understanding how African, Portuguese, and indigenous influences created our unique cuisine. The way food brings people together here inspired me to make it my profession.
Kamakura's aesthetic harmony between nature and architecture greatly influenced my work as a graphic designer. Growing up surrounded by Zen gardens and ancient temples taught me about balance and minimalism in design. The way traditional crafts are preserved here also inspired me to blend traditional and modern elements in my work.
Living in Bled naturally led me to become a tour guide. I grew up watching tourists fall in love with our town's beauty, and I wanted to help them understand not just what they're seeing, but the stories behind everything. Plus, growing up in such a tourist-friendly place taught me how to connect with people from different cultures.
Living in Lekki, seeing how environmental changes affect our coastal community, directly influenced my choice to study environmental science. Watching development and nature try to coexist here showed me the importance of sustainable planning. The rapid changes in our area made me want to be part of shaping a more sustainable future.
What's the best time of year to visit your hometown?
October to December is perfect for visiting Shenzhen. The weather is mild, humidity is low, and the skies are usually clear, great for viewing our famous skyline. It's also when we have the Shenzhen International Industrial Design Fair and many tech exhibitions. Plus, you can enjoy outdoor activities in parks without the summer heat or spring rains.
The best time to visit fairs is during spring, especially April. The weather is perfect, not too hot like summer or chilly like winter. It's when our famous festival of world sacred music happens, and the Medina's courtyards are filled with orange blossom fragrance. The light at this time of year makes the old city walls glow golden.
For Salvador, come between December and March. Yes, it's high season, but there's a reason: perfect beach weather, and it's carnival time. The city is most alive then, with street performances everywhere. If you want a quieter visit, September is also great, still sunny but fewer tourists, and you can really experience local life.
Kamakura is magical in late June during the hydrangea season. While cherry blossoms in April are famous, they're extremely crowded. June offers perfect weather, beautiful flowers at every temple, and fewer tourists. The hydrangeas along the Enadin train line create stunning photo opportunities, and you can still enjoy beach activities.
September in Bled is absolutely perfect. The summer crowds are gone, but it's still warm enough to swim in the lake. The autumn colors start appearing, creating beautiful reflections in the lake, and you can go hiking without the summer heat. It's also harvest time, so local restaurants serve special seasonal dishes.
Visit Lekki between November and January, during the dry season. The weather is pleasant, and the Harmattan haze creates these beautiful sunsets over the lagoon. It's also when we have many outdoor festivals and beach events. The Christmas and New Year period is especially vibrant with lots of community celebrations.
What's a hidden gem in your hometown that most tourists miss?
Most tourists stick to the main shopping areas, but there's this amazing place called October Art Terminal in Nanshan District. It's a former factory converted into art galleries and creative spaces. Local artists have their studios there, and there's a great coffee shop where tech entrepreneurs and artists mix. The contrast of industrial architecture and modern art really captures Shenzhen's spirit.
There's a small rooftop cafe in the Medina called Cafe Clock, hidden in a restored riad. Most tourists never find it, but it has the most stunning view of the old city and Atlas Mountains. They also host storytelling nights where local elders share traditional tales. The best part is their fusion menu. Try their camel burger with traditional Moroccan spices.
Everyone knows about Pelourinho, but few visitors discover the Solar du Unhao, an old sugar mill converted into an art museum. It has amazing sunset views over the bay, and on Saturday nights, there are incredible jazz sessions where local musicians blend jazz with Bahian rhythms. The wooden architecture itself tells the story of our colonial past.
Most visitors rush between the main temples, but there's this peaceful bamboo grove behind Hokokuji Temple. Locals call it Take Dara, Bamboo Temple. Early morning, you can have traditional matcha tea in their tea house surrounded by bamboo swaying in the breeze. It's like stepping into old Japan, and usually, you'll only see local elderly people there.
Tourists focus on the lake, but few discover the Vintgar Gorge walking trail just outside Bled. It's especially magical in early morning when mist hangs over the turquoise water. There's also this family-run beekeeping museum in an old farmhouse where you can taste honey made from alpine flowers and learn about traditional beekeeping.
Most people don't know about the hidden mangrove trails near Lekki Conservation Center. Early morning, you can see rare birds and sometimes even monkeys. There's also this amazing local artist community under the Lekki Ikayi Bridge. They create incredible art from recycled materials found on the beach. On Sundays, they often have informal art workshops.
How do locals deal with tourism in your hometown?
In Shenzhen, we're actually trying to attract more tourists. We're proud to show how a modern Chinese city works. Most locals are used to visitors taking photos of our skyscrapers and technology markets. We even have a saying, today's tourist might be tomorrow's investor. Many locals volunteer as city guides to share our innovation story.
In Fez, tourism is part of our daily life in the Medina. Most families have been here for generations and have learned to balance welcoming visitors while preserving our privacy. We've developed clever ways, like having separate entrances for tourists and locals in busy areas. Many young people now work as cultural mediators, helping visitors understand our traditions respectfully.
Salvador locals have this beautiful way of including tourists in our culture rather than treating them as outsiders. We invite them to join our street parties, teach them basic samba steps. Of course, the tourist areas can get crowded, but we have our hidden spots. Many families actually host cultural workshops in their homes now.
Kamakura residents have mastered the art of peaceful coexistence with tourism. We maintain special quiet zones for local worship at temples, and many shops have early morning hours just for locals. There's an unspoken understanding that certain neighborhood cafes and gardens are primarily for residents.
In Bled, we've learned to embrace tourism while protecting our community. Many families rent rooms to tourists during summer but maintain private family spaces. We've created locals-only parking areas and special discount cards for residents. The key is that most tourist businesses are locally owned, so there's a sense of stewardship.
Lekki has developed two parallel worlds, the tourist beaches and the local community spaces. We're generally welcoming but protective of our residential areas. The community has started cultural orientation sessions for visitors, teaching them about local customs. It helps create mutual respect.
What's a current challenge your hometown is facing, and how are people working to solve it?
Shenzhen's biggest challenge is work-life balance and rising living costs. Many young professionals can barely afford apartments despite good salaries. The community is responding creatively. Some companies are introducing 4-day work weeks, and there's a growing co-living movement where people share larger apartments. The city government is also building more affordable housing in new tech districts.
Fez is struggling to balance preservation with modernization. Some historic buildings need urgent repairs, but traditional craftsmanship is expensive. The community has started a fascinating solution. An apprenticeship program where young people learn traditional building techniques while earning modern engineering degrees. Local families also organize volunteer restoration projects.
Salvador faces inequality and youth unemployment. But there's hope. We're seeing community initiatives like free coding schools in lower-income neighborhoods, and restaurants like mine partner with local schools for culinary training programs. There's also a movement to create tourist experiences in different neighborhoods to spread economic benefits.
Kamakura is dealing with an aging population and young people moving to Tokyo. To counter this, local businesses have started offering remote workspaces in historic buildings. Some temples even host startup incubators. It's a unique blend of preserving our heritage while creating opportunities for younger generations.
Bled's main challenge is becoming too expensive for locals. The community has responded by starting a local housing cooperative, where residents collectively buy properties to keep them affordable. We've also developed a locals first policy for new business licenses to ensure residents can still run shops in tourist areas.
Lekki's facing rapid development versus environmental protection, especially coastal erosion. Our community has started a Green Lekki initiative. Young people are planting mangroves to protect the coastline, and local tech companies are developing apps to monitor environmental changes. We're also seeing more eco-friendly building designs.
What's a local tradition that's in danger of disappearing, and how are people trying to preserve it?
Traditional tea culture is fading in Shenzhen as young people prefer modern cafes. However, there's an interesting revival movement where tech companies are setting up traditional tea rooms in their offices. Young professionals are rediscovering tea ceremonies as a way to distress and connect with Chinese culture. Some local schools have even started teaching tea ceremony basics.
In Fez, the art of traditional copperwork is declining. Once, our Medina echoed with the sound of copper being shaped, but fewer young people are learning the craft. However, a group of artisans has started a social media campaign showing the process, and some are offering workshops to students. They're even collaborating with modern designers to create contemporary pieces using traditional techniques.
In Salvador, traditional capoeira schools are struggling as young people prefer modern gyms. But we're seeing a revival through education. Several public schools now include capoeira in their physical education programs. Some masters have also started combining it with youth mentorship programs, teaching both the martial art and its historical significance.
Traditional papermaking in Kamakura is becoming rare. There used to be many small workshops producing handmade washi paper, but now only a few remain. Local artists have started a movement to use this paper in contemporary art, and some schools organize field trips to the remaining workshops. There's also a yearly festival celebrating traditional paper crafts.
The traditional craft of wooden boat building for our Pletner boats was nearly lost. Now, there's a small school teaching young apprentices, combining traditional methods with modern tools. The local tourism board has also started promoting craftsman tours, where visitors can watch boat builders at work, helping make the profession financially viable again.
Our traditional storytelling through drumming is becoming less common in Lekki. But there's a wonderful initiative where elderly drummers visit schools to teach students. Some local tech companies even host monthly drumming sessions where traditional stories are shared. Young musicians are also incorporating traditional drumming patterns into modern music.
Would you recommend your hometown to someone looking to move there?
Absolutely, especially for people in tech. The job opportunities are excellent, the city is very modern and convenient, and despite being a big city, it's relatively young and welcoming to newcomers. However, I'd warn them that the pace of life is quite fast.
I would, especially for families who value tradition and community. The cost of living is reasonable, the people are welcoming, and it's a great place to raise children with an appreciation for culture. However, you need to be prepared for a more traditional way of life.
Definitely, especially for people who enjoy a laid-back lifestyle and rich culture. The cost of living is lower than in Sao Paulo or Rio, and the quality of life is great. Just be prepared for a slower pace and hot weather year-round.
Yes, especially for people who want access to Tokyo while living in a more relaxed environment. It's perfect for creatives and families who appreciate nature and history. Though I should mention that property prices have risen due to its popularity.
I would, particularly for people who love nature and outdoor activities. The quality of life is excellent, and we have good connections to Ljubljana and Austria. However, I should mention that winter can be quite long, and job opportunities outside tourism are limited.
Yes, but with some caveats. It's perfect for ambitious people who thrive in fast-paced environments and want to be part of Africa's fastest-growing economy. However, you need to be prepared for infrastructure challenges and traffic congestion. The opportunities are enormous, but so are the challenges.
That's all for today's daily English room conversation practice. Thank you for joining us. If you enjoyed this video, like, leave a comment, and hit the subscribe button. See you next time.